one of the biggest pieces of advice you always hear given to trainers is network locally. Is talk to doctors in the area, talk to physiotherapists in the area, see if they can send you some clients or referrals. Well, Ashley and Justin are getting a lot of referrals from local physicians and local physiotherapists. And their content online isn't giving them much benefit. And so in this hot seat conversation, what we do is we talk about how to actually go deeper into their local networks, into leveraging some connections that are working out really, really well with obs-gyns, with physicians that live locally that are already sending them clients, how to improve upon that relationship, but also how to use that relationship to build relationships with other doctors locally. I hope that you really enjoyed this conversation. This is really a tailor-made, obvious choice conversation, and I think it'll help. Enjoy. All right. Ashley, Justin. Where you at? Oh, you're top right on my screen. Okay, cool. So Ashley or Justin, whichever one. I don't know who's taking the lead here to speak, but we've done this before. You know the routine. So real quick, again, kind of who you are for folks who haven't yet met you and what you do, and then what we're talking about today.
Sure. Sorry, I'm sick. I have minimal voice here. So we are a husband-wife team who co-own Level Up Strength and Nutrition. And our signature program is the Muscle Mommy Method. And we work with moms of young kids to ditch the toxic diet culture and get stronger and more confident than they ever have before. So Paul's, kind of spoke to me there. Yeah, we got a collab, Paul. And what we just had our legacy one-on-one with Jason Maxwell. And when we were talking, we got into that almost every single lead that we're getting in is through in-person networking and through medical referrals from local medical professionals that we know. So I guess kind of suggestions on how to
How do we put it to use? How do we leverage those?
How to more leverage the in-person networking.
Right.
We have a physical therapist who wants to offboard his clients to us.
Cool.
Like that's obviously not Muscle Mommy Method for me, but as a pain-free performance specialist,
working on that,
working on like what that kind of referral system should look like for us and how to be successful.
Well, yeah. So what type of physicians are these? That's my first question.
So I have an OBGYN who refers her weight loss women to me who do not qualify for Ozempic, because that's what most women are going to her for.
Okay.
So that goes really well into my signature program.
Mm-hmm.
But we do have
we've got a physical therapist that I was looking at working with. Again, offboarding his clients, people who insurance isn't covering their PT care anymore, but he wants them to continue with the exercise. So he found us as somebody that he would trust to do that. The question with that situation is, do we need a different signature program? Do we coach these people for a number of sessions, roll them straight into legacy? I don't know what would be best.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be all over the place, right?
Right.
And they're going to need much more specific support. Okay. Any other physicians?
Functional medicine.
We have a functional medicine doctor who also uses us as well. So again, that's different from necessary. I mean, the women there, because I specialize in PCOS as well, and a lot of women PCOS see the functional medicine doctor kind of on board into legacy pretty well for me.
Yeah.
It's more just the I guess the physical therapist side for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as we grow in the community, what the best way is to coach these.
Well, the physiotherapy one, I'll answer that a little bit differently, because if you have excess time and capacity to do it now, my response to that kind of stuff is usually like, I'll take it on until it breaks and then figure out how to fix it after it breaks.
Okay.
Like, I mean, should you build an entirely new program for these people? No, because you don't really know how many of them there are going to be yet. this physical therapist says that he or she is going to send you these people, and hopefully they do, and hopefully there's a lot of people, and hopefully it's ongoing for a long time. But all of that is hopefully right now.
Right.
And so I'm okay with that kind of stuff. It sounds like good opportunity for it to be like manual and more conventional, I guess, training. I mean, you have your systems for communication and for onboarding and stuff like that. Most of it can be made to be pretty generalized. It would just be the training programs would be different and unique. And if it gets to the point where there's too much of an influx, well, you can bring on another trainer who specializes, or maybe even you bring on your own physio who is a fitness first physio, because I know there's a lot of them who works remotely, who can work with these people and who would work with them as more conventional clients as part of your team. I don't know if that's the right solution or not, but to me, whenever I hear stuff like that, it's like, well, let's just figure out where this breaks first before we try to build a plan of how to fix the holes before there are holes. I'm a big believer in let's wait till stuff bursts at the seams. It's way easier to solve problems when you have excess money and excess clients than it is to try to solve problems before you have any of those things. So talk to me about how you feel about that kind of, because that might not have been the expected response.
No, that wasn't even something we thought about, because we're both overthinkers, which was the outcome of our last hot seat.
Yep.
But like, like my brain automatically goes to, well, we need to spend all this time building a program and a different welcome package for them, when really like it's not that deep. Maybe like, once we have like 50 clients from this guy, which would be amazing,
Sure.
Then we start building those separate systems, or we have a VA that helps us do that stuff at that point.
I mean, it might get to that point, or it might not. I've done consults for online training companies with 15, 20 coaches. And I mean, they've got a Google Sheet spreadsheet. They send Google Sheets to their clients via links. It's wholly disorganized. And so, they're now coming to me with 15 coaches and 300, 400 clients saying, hey, how do we fix this? But, but that's far down the road. And they're in a position to fix it. And of course, have the means and have the reason to do it. So that's what I would say. That in terms of the doctors, I know you wrote on your form here kind of the difference of like, hey, you seem to be putting like a ton of effort into online, into Instagram specifically, but you're not getting a ton out of it. But then you have these relationships personally that seem to be doing well.
Online personal training mentorship, just pretty much doing training online.
There we go. And I thought that was you for a second.
I was really confused.
And my voice got really deep there for a second.
Your voice got really deep there for a second. And so I always wonder with these doctors, like, can you make their lives easier? I mean, they're referring you, which is wonderful. Can you be the one providing handouts in their staff room? Right? Like, you're creating a piece of content on Instagram. Why not just create that piece of content?
That's a good point.
And send it to them, and also send it to other doctors in the mail and say, hey, we're already working with Dr. So-and-so, who's referring us clients, PCOS clients who do not qualify for Ozempic. And here's what they have to say. Oh my God, these people are amazing. Some testimonial here and there. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to provide you something for your staff room. Have a look.
Really good idea.
Yeah.
It's good. And that way, at least it's a way to give them a benefit, because you know how these physicians always are. I mean, they are just over busy, but the waiting room in a doctor's office is such a captive area. It's like I always joke, it's like the only more captive area is the space above the urinal in the guy's bathroom. It's like you will read anything that is above that place, right? Same kind of thing in the waiting room in like a doctor's office.
Especially at OBGYN offices with a bunch of pregnant women.
I mean, I've been in fertility clinics, so
Yeah.
that's a whole different animal where you don't want to ask anybody questions about anything.
Yeah.
How does that sound to you? How does that land to you?
I like that a lot, and wasn't even something we considered as far as then using that connection to reach out to all the other physicians in the area too. Like, hey, we're already working with Dr. Patel. Like, these are the success stories.
It's got to be a small network of female specific, I'll call it women specific doctors in your area. I mean, if they don't know one another, they would know of one another. I gotta think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Then they each carry their own weight, and I love it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then put you all into that relationship, those relationships.
Instead of spinning my wheels on social media, that isn't really getting me any clients.
Well, you're creating the content anyway.
Right.
You're just putting the content in a different place. You're putting the content in a place where you're the only piece of content that people are going to read.
That's true.
And what you can even do is, you could brand it to them. You can put their doctor's name. Like, you can create one piece of material on what would you do? Give me just like throw out one idea.
Sure. Weight loss with PCOS.
So weight loss with PCOS done the healthy way for life, right? So you'd create one great piece of content like that, but you create it kind of as a template. All you got to do is go on the doctor's website, and you can find their name, their number, their email, and you can put, prepared by you guys, your information, of course, at the bottom with a call to action at the end of it. But then you put the doctor's office name on it too.
So do you recommend reaching out to those people first and asking if it's okay, or just making it and sending it their way? Surprise, here's content.
We signed my kid up for this sports camp called True North Sports Camps. And one day a sign just shows up on my lawn that says, "My child is attending True North Sports Camps." And I just looked at Allison and I was like, those fucking guys. Well done. Because, like, what's the worst that could happen? I don't want your sign on my lawn. I'm just going to throw it in the garbage. I'm not going to unenroll my kid in sports camp.
Sure.
And so what's the worst that could happen? You do this great gesture for them and you put their name on it and make their life easy. And they're like, nah, we don't really want to use this. And they put it in the recycling.
Yeah.
It cost you a stamp and a couple.
But now they know our name.
Now they know your name. And I would continue following up with stuff. Okay. Like I would just keep doing it. They might message you. I would try to reach out to them. I mean, I wonder whether there's some networking something. We don't have time to really dive into it, but I wonder whether there's some networking way that you can like connect the doctors to one another in the neighborhood. There's a book that I'll recommend. It's called Never Eat Alone by Keith Ferrazzi. It's kind of one of the
good one.
Yeah. Okay. So you're familiar with it. So he tells a story in that book about, I can't remember what it was, but it was like CTOs. It was like tech leaders in local businesses. And it was this guy who sold the software solution to them and became the best seller nationwide really quickly. And all that he would do he would just call up the CTOs of all of the companies in town. And he would just invite them to breakfast to meet the other CTOs. And he'd sit there and there'd be 4 of them, and he'd say, "Hey guys, this is your breakfast. I'm just here to pay the bill. Like, y'all get to know each other." And that was all he did, because what he realized is that there's these people who are pretty isolated from one another, and they really like being able to talk shop, but nobody's given them the opportunity. And so I wonder whether there's an opportunity with that too. I don't know how receptive or not receptive they would be. I mean, physicians are generally pretty overbusy people, but they might jump at the opportunity to meet others outside of a conference setting. I don't know. Cool.
Thank
Okay.
you. No, that's all really good advice.
Yeah, this will be fun. I like this approach, and I'm glad that you've already seen some benefits from it. John again, and thank you so much for listening to that. What a cool story and opportunity that Ashley and Justin have. I'm really excited to see where they go with it. I'm going to recommend to you another episode in just a moment to listen to. But if you are interested in learning more about my mentorship, that's where this call came from. So every few weeks, what I do is I host a hot seat where we go into problems like this, right? They're all over the place, and we dig deep, and that's just one aspect of it. So if you are looking at scaling your online training business and you're thinking that a mentorship might be something that'll help, please, on Instagram, I'm at It's Coach Goodman. Send me a DM that just says mentor, and we'll have a conversation about it. Now, if you're looking for another episode to listen to, I want to recommend episode 26 to you. The title of this episode is Big Fish, Little Pond versus Little Fish, Big Pond. You see, Ashley and Justin were being big fish in a little pond. They're getting the referrals from their local physicians. You're not going to hear about them on social media, are you? But they're building a phenomenal business. And they're doing that because they're not trying to be tiny little itty bitty fish in a huge pond online, because they've just figured out that that doesn't work. And so this episode goes into that a lot more. So if you're looking for another episode to listen to right now, I recommend episode 26, Big Fish, Little Pond versus Little Fish, Big Pond of the Obvious Choice podcast. Enjoy, and as always, thanks for tuning in.